The time of ending has begun. Check out the brand new Gathering Storm Fall of Cadia book.
Spiking bits.
Alright, welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Baer with you, of course, again today with our first look review of the brand new Gathering Storm Fall of Cadia. Time of ending, EIEIO. This is it. This is the start of big things. It's 2017. Games Workshop is going places. From their stock prices to their profits, all sorts of things. And of course, now a brand new advancing storyline. Now, right off the bat, I'll tell you what I like about this book. It is nearly 3/4 all fluff, which is really interesting to me because they didn't do the double book kind of thing from, like the Wars of Fenris kind of series, or the last book with Prospero, Wrath of Magnus. Now it seems like they're just doing like a one book kind of thing. Of course, the price is reduced. This is $50 hardback here. Now, it's got some really cool foil embossing. The side also has said foil embossing, so when this is on your bookshelf, it's shiny. Ooh, so shiny. What you get in here is some brand new rules. Of course, the rules for the Triumvirate separately. Each model there. You also get, I believe it's 3 formations, as well as 2 separate detachments, new war gear, all sorts of new toys for all the good Imperial boys and girls. There are no Chaos rules in here. Spoiler alerts, there's a ton of spoiler alerts. If you haven't heard on the internet already, like basically what's going down, Cadia gets destroyed, basically, not in so as many words. Turns out they jump into a warp portal or a webway portal to get away from it all, and lo and behold, Mr. Eldrad Ulthan of Ulthway and the Eldar race is there. Of course, he was there in the first 13th Black Crusade, way back when. That I guess was never happened. 2017, that never happened. We're back. It's this one right here. What I like about this book is they introduce some kind of like a new format almost, where they show you the contents, but there's also like a dramatis personae. So it's almost like these books are designed to be an ongoing narrative type kind of thing for Warhammer 40k, but also provide some rules for, a splash of miniatures that comes out, which is really good. And here you can see, of course, the table of contents. Basically up to page 1, where is it? About 110-ish is all fluff. So you got about 110 pages of fluff. Then it goes into your Echoes of War, which also includes the brand new Battlezone Empiric Storm cards. It's a different way you can play the game with those in play, so that's all part of that. Then it goes into Forces of Imperium, which of course is your painted miniature showcase. Then boom, right into data sheets, your Triumvirate miniatures, models, special characters, whatever you want to call them. Then the formations, the new detachments, the armory, the weapons, the special issue war gear, the relics in the Arcana Mechanicum that nobody seemed to have been talking about for the longest time, and we didn't even know about until very recently. And then the tactical objectives, which seem to be a part of the whole Maelstrom objective type thing. So we're not going to show you every page, because remember, this is a first look review, and we're not going to tell you every rule, because again, this is a first look review. Normally our tips and tactics videos come out the following week, where we break down all the rules and we give you our ideas on how this is going to shake up the meta, some things you can do with your army, some things to look out for on the tabletop, some gotchas, etc., etc. So obviously this book is telling the whole story. We all know Trey's in the Infinites there with his brand new collection, picking some dudes up. Who's that guy in the background right there? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So lots of stuff going on in here. The Phalanx shows up. The Imperial Fist Fortress Monastery reappears out of the warp. And boom, it's getting into it. More and more fluff, more and more on the Phalanx. Like I said, 110 pages of fluff. Just boom, just pages and pages and pages of fluff. We're not going to get into a whole lot of spoilers, but I'm sure if you are here reading this, you've already read up a lot that is out there on the internet already. Then it gets into the rules. From special mission ideas and printouts to, of course, the Battlezone Empirical Storm cards. So that Echoes of War mission, like I said, all contain the Empirical Storm kind of special rule. And there's 2 different types of those. There's instantaneous, which are resolved when you flip the card or roll the dice and compare it to the chart. Or there's persistent, where it just basically stays in play for that turn. And, there's this many of them. We've seen this kind of chart before. So it looks like pretty cool stuff. Just ways to augment your games if you want to play through these 6 missions of the Fall of Cadia campaign kind of saga right here, right? And generally these missions here, what's really neat about them is if you read the fluff before it, all of these missions are part of the battles and things that take place in that fluff kind of section, you know what I mean? So you read the story, you want to reenact the story on the tabletop with your miniatures, and then, hey, we got new rules and new characters. That's always the format that Games Workshop seems to go with. It's a proven format. I mean, it gets us all excited every time out there. And then it gets into the rules section themselves, which introduce the new data sheets, as well as the new formations and detachments. Of course, they give you the breakdown on how the data sheets work. Belisarius Cowl is the brand new Archmagos of the Mechanicum, and of course, he not only does he use the normal Canicles of the Omicide, but he has special Canicles of the Archmagos, which, let's just say, getting a 4-up invulnerable save to all of your stuff, regardless of whether it is of the faction to do with Mechanicus, whether it's Scutari or Cult Mechanicus, is going to be pretty good. And of course, we will break that down in our tips and tactics videos. I might point out a few things that I'm really looking forward to in here. Of course, Celestine is combo-tastic. She is going to go well in a lot of Imperial Death Stars out there. Her rules are fantastic. I mean, she's basically a collective 9 wounds of ridiculousness with a 4-up invulnerable save that possesses a ton of special rules, most of which she had in the past. Plus, she's got a new Orbital Strike rule that, if you haven't seen that, it's not as good as a normal Chapter Master, but it's Strength 8 AP3. You know, you're going to catch some people slipping with it. Just the fact that she always comes back is ridiculous, and now she automatically gets back one of her Gemini Yin Yang bodyguard twins there in the backfield is what you can see. She also conveys out the Saintly Blessings, which we're going to talk about in our Tips and Tactics video, and then of course Inquisitor Greyfax. She is going to shake up the meta too, the meta that's still forming with the whole new Genestealer cult kind of phenomenon that we really haven't seen in competitive play quite yet, and we might not see it at the Las Vegas Open, which is coming up, because they just locked it down. You cannot use this book there. So I imagine we're going to see a lot of Genestealers there. If that is the case, well, you might want to think about putting her in your army, because she has the ability to effectively kind of keep them away from your battle lines, and if they roll badly, kind of push home the advantage, so to speak, with her Aura of Opposition, as well as her Master of Interrogation Warlord trait. So if she's your Warlord, well, it'll do good things. And then of course you've got the Formation, which includes all of them, that conveys out some special abilities there. The Conclave of Questorius, which is the Mechanicum one, which combines both Scutari and Cult Mechanics factions. Wrathful Crusade, again, another really cool formation that conveys out some special abilities that we're going to talk about, and some different things in our Tips and Tactics video. Then it gets to the Combined Imperial Forces table, where it basically explains to you how the Grand Convocation and Castellan of the Imperiums work. Now this is just your basic detachment over here, which you can draw from these particular, or these are your allies, I believe. Haven't read through this completely yet. Yes, this is mostly just Mechanicum, that you can also pair in certain amounts of, oh, you have to take this many and this is your choice here. And when you do, they help to benefit that, like the stuff right here. Primary detachment, maximum number of units. I thought there was something with the Mechanicus. Oh, the It Will Not Die. Could be a little bit helpful on the Lords of War, but goes without saying. And then of course you've got the Castellans of the Imperium detachment, which is going to allow you to pick from all these books these particular choices right here. It's almost like you're ordering from a 40k Fat Kid buffet. But what's really cool about this, the special rule, Flock to the Front Line. If you lose one of your squads that's troops from this chart right here, then you get it back on a 5 or 6. It just goes into ongoing reserve and then deploys like normal, you know, based on its normal abilities. I don't think anything here can do anything crazy. So yeah, it would just come out from the board edge at first glance. So there you go. So there's basically it's a meat grinder. OG, if you played in 3rd edition, this is basically a meat grinder kind of type scenario here. But it gives you lots of menu buffets or menu items to order from, and then special war gear rules for both of them. Then it gets into the section that's going to interest a lot of players. Brand new relics for the Mechanicum and brand new relics for the Ecclesiarchy, which the Ecclesiarchy ones look to be very good just at first glance. I mean, you got stuff that gives you Eternal Warrior, stuff that gives you AP2 shooting pistols, I mean, you've got like just the gamut of stuff right here. AP2 power weapons. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this. I haven't really dug into it. This is kind of first look review just to give you guys that info you need to vote with your hobby dollars. And then it goes into the tactical objectives card. So overall, I think, you know, if you're into the story of 40K, this is the time of ending. They've said it many a times, from their website to their actual White Dwarf. This might be the book that starts it all off. It's very auspicious. It's starting a lot to sound like the end times from fantasy, but it's not the end times. It's the time of ending. Two different things. Don't be afraid of it. I do not think they will blow up and destroy things like they did in Warhammer Fantasy, porting it over to Age of Sigmar. I think they learned their folly there. Maybe they didn't. Maybe we'll get new stuff. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, this is where it is all going to start. We know that the brand new Army box is limited, or the Triumvirate box is limited. So if you are interested in these rules, you might want to pick them up. You might want to also pick up the Empyric Storms cards. So instead of rolling on the dice chart, you can just basically shuffle these up and flip them down on the table. Now, I don't know what these all do. I have not read them all, but I know that having game aids on the table is a lot easier to remember and play with than not having game aids on the tabletop. So I feel like, you know, if you're really into narrative play and campaigns, well, this might be a pickup for you. They seem very good, high quality. They're not exactly glossy cardstock, but they got a little bit of a satiny sheen to it. It's your typical, you know, tactical upgrade, Maelstrom kind of deck type deal right here with some really cool graphics. And of course, you know, all of the rules that you need right there with the corresponding numbers on them, just basically laid out. So I don't know if we're going to see more of this as the storyline progresses, but it might be a good pickup nonetheless if you're into that campaign play and that's what you crave. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching our first look video review of the brand new Gathering Storm, Fall of Cadia, and the Empyrical Storm cards for the new release. Omissions, clarifications, comments, concerns, leave it in the question box below and we'll try to get to them all.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.